Hello there guys, Feng here, and welcome back to RimWorld. Okie dokie then. So, the last time we covered the game was back in Alpha 9. It's now in Alpha 14, and what's particularly special about this release is that it's now been released on Steam Early Access. So you can pick it up from there, which is absolutely fantastic. There's also some new stuff like the scenario editor, which we'll talk about shortly. Now, I would advise you, if you don't want to watch the world generation, if you're not really interested, the scenarios, I would go ahead and skip straight to episode 2. If you want to see the world generation stuff, then keep watching. So I've had a bit of a problem with trying to screen capture or game capture RimWorld. For some reason, when the world is generating and when the world is loading, for some reason it unhooks. I've even tried it with Fraps and it does exactly the same. It's really weird. So what I had to do is I've had to screen capture this particular episode. It's still going to be in 1080. But the problem is, it's not 60 frames a second, which is the reason why I'm doing this as a separate video. So it doesn't really matter how many frames you get in when you're doing world generation. It's what happens after. So, with that in mind, let's crack on, shall we? So, here we go. This is the standard scenario with 3 crash-landed survivors. And as you can see, you can actually see what you start off with and whatnot. There's a few new base ones as well. So you got the Rich Explorer, which starts you off with 1 person. You have access to gun turrets, and you also start off with a very generous amount of thingies. Lots and lots of thingies. Then you got Lost Tribe, which is the opposite. You start off with a lot of people, but not as many resources, and a lot of them are more primitive, like the short bows and spears and clubs. So yeah, a bit of a harder start, but yeah. Alright, now I've actually customised my own, but before we actually look at that, here's the scenario editor. So you go into a scenario, you can load up one that you've already done, or one from Steam Workshop or whatnot. And if you go to edit mode, you can actually edit parts. So you can edit the title, the summary, the description. You can also change factions, how many people start off with, a rival method. You can also, as you can see that one there, 4 stealth condition. You can do a lot of stuff. Here, this is what you can do. You also have stuff like cannot hunt, cannot mine, cannot sow, cannot tame. There's actually some really hilarious ones actually, but it's really good. And not only that, you can actually randomise the seed. So if it was to randomise the seed, it would actually give us something completely random. Now obviously it won't tell you the summary description, but as you can see, with this particular one, we've got a colony starting with 5, a rival method standing, different age range. Start off with 3 animals, 3 Arctic wolves. Start off with incendiary IEDs, 4 straight of Night Owl with a 57% chance to the player's starting characters, etc, etc, etc. It's actually pretty damn good. It really is. And this one also has a planet killer as well. Planet killer is more of a timed event. So if you do not get off the planet in this particular amount of days, your colony will get wiped. It's basically an end game for people that want to race against the clock. Pretty cool. Okay, so I've actually made my own. I've made the Lovers an Adam and Eve parody. So the star-crossed lovers awaken the morning after a wild night out with no recollection how they got there. With them both nude, surrounded by forbidden fruit and the odd-looking snake, they would think that they'd somehow gone to heaven, went back in time, or gone crazy, until they realised remains of the beer crate they had last night was still there. Now, as you can see, my trait is not particularly great of storytelling, but oh well. So with this particular one, you start off with 2 people, Adam and Eve. Your people will be between 21 and 25 years old. They'll start off with nudist and beautiful. And you start off with very bare essentials actually. There's not really an awful lot they start off with. I actually realised how difficult this particular challenge was. Especially with Alpha 14b. This is actually a 14c at the moment, but Alpha 14 had a huge bug where majority of the events were not triggering, so it made the games a hell of a lot easier. But now that they're triggering properly, it's a tad bit harder, and this starting scenario actually does make it quite hard. So I did make an easy one, and I've actually uploaded these to the Steam Workshop. I'll stick a link in the description where you can get them if you're interested in playing them. But this one actually starts off with brewing as a research, which is really cool because you want to get some more beer going. And you start off with a bit more stuff, you know. It's kind of an halfway between Crash Landed and The Rich Explorer, so that's cool. Alright then, so we're going to go with the easy. We're going to go with, we got Cassandra Classic, Phoebe Chillax, or Randy Random. Randy Random is one of my favourites because it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you'll get hit with a load of shit, sometimes you'll get hit with a load of good stuff, and sometimes it'll just be random. And we're going to do rough. Now there's a permadeath mode. This is new. So you can't save, and whenever you exit the game it saves itself. It's pretty cool, but for the problem is, for this particular series, the game still crashes now and again, so being able to manually save is ideal in that case. So I'm going to leave that off for the time being, and we'll go next. Seed. Let's go ahead and have a think, because why not? Makes sense, doesn't it? Alrighty then. So let us see the seed. So we've got access to quite a lot of biomes. We have the ocean biome, we have ice sheet, the tundra, boreal forest, desert, temperate forest, tropical rainforest, and extreme desert. I think there's one more, arid shrubland. Yeah. So some of these are pretty easy to survive in. A lot of them aren't. Like the ice sheet and tundra and extreme desert, those are pretty damn difficult to survive in. Alright, I was going to go with tropical rainforest, but the last few times I've had a few colonies, they seem to get malaria like 100% of the time, which is a bit silly. So we're just going to go with possibly either boreal forest or temperate forest. Not actually 100% sure which one yet. Boreal forest would, yeah, the growing period of that is really short. We'll probably just go with standard forest. I don't think I want anything too mountainous, maybe just large hills. But the thing is, with large mountains, you are more likely to get more resources from the mountains, like steel, plasteel, and components and stuff like that. I think I might actually go with the mountainous in this case. It's quite cold, which is unfortunate, but we'll go with that one. I think we'll go with that one. Oh, the fun bit. So one of the major problems with the scenario editor is you can't really, even though you can assign traits, you know, the problem is you can't actually do anything else like force male or force female or anything like that between characters. So we need to try and randomise some fairly decent ones and one that's male and female. So I'm going to stick a quick pause in here. Alrighty then, so I managed to find the perfect pair. So we've got should probably name you Eve as such. So Eve is decent at shooting. She's also decent at growing, one of the major things we do need to think about. But as you can see, she's incapable of intellectual, dumb labour or crafting, which is not necessarily the worst of cases, but it's certainly not great either. But at least she's decent in everything else, and she used to be a child star, and now she's a gardener, so that makes sense. And then we've got, not Chimp, your name is not Chimp, your name is now Adam. So we now got Adam, who is decent at cooking, decent at melee, although we might not use melee, which will probably just keep shooting. But he's also got a passion for stuff like research and construction, which is really useful. He's also decent with medicine, which I don't think she is. So he is going to be our doctor. Fantastic. Alright, so let's go with that. So we'll generate the map. Right, now that this is generating, I'm going to go ahead and stick a cut in here, and I'll see you next episode.